to helping people to generate more wealth using their super. So a little bit of few facts about self-managed superannuation fund. Let me just there are almost 600,000 self-managed superannuation funds in Australia, and 1.3 million is the average assets per self-managed superannuation fund. Also, 86% of SMSF members are over the age of 45. It used to be, SMSF used to be for older people. However, the members are getting younger and younger, and I have clients as young as in their 20s. So it's for any age. However, you have to be aware that 200,000 is a minimum amount of assets which is required to be established. The ASIC requires as a minimum 200,000. So ASIC believes that at 200,000, the SMSF becomes competitive compared to the larger super funds, retail super funds or industry superannuation funds. So there are advantages and disadvantages. SMSF is a trust, and there are advantages of SMSF, of course, and disadvantages. Advantages of self-managed fund: you get in control over your finances, you get in control over what you're investing into. You can choose your investments. In the larger super funds, you cannot choose your investments. There are tax strategies we can implement in a self-managed superannuation fund, which is easy to implement than if you have your super in your larger fund. And also, if you have quite a large super fund, let's say over 200,000, the cost are getting. Hold on a second. Someone says that there is a background noise. Let me just fix it. Yeah, Jose, let me just fix the noise. I'm just wondering. Someone is probably not. Yeah, I have to put everyone on mute, so that's right. So. I think everyone is on mute. Okay, I've muted everyone. All right, so I think it's better now. Sorry for that. Somehow someone got on mute. So, right, so SMSF. So let's continue. There are advantages and disadvantages, which I have to advise you about. Advantage, you can control. There are tax strategies. You can decide where to invest. And if you have a large SMSF over 200,000, the costs are actually less than having your funds in an industry fund or retail fund, because the retail or industry fund will charge you based on the percentage for investment fees based on the amount you have in the super fund. But of course, there are disadvantages for SMSF. People usually underestimate how much time it requires. It requires some financial knowledge as well, because you have to, as a trustee of SMSF, you have to decide where to invest your funds. Also, very important disadvantage, there is no access to compensation schemes. So it means if you lose your money, you are responsible for making the wrong decisions, and you will lose your money without any compensation. So also responsibility as a trustee. So if you breach the law, and ATO can impose penalties, and it's per trustee, the penalty is per trustee, and obviously you'll have to pay the penalty yourself, not the self-managed super fund. So initial SMSF setup process could be split in 3 parts. First part is a statement of advice, which is required by ASIC. You cannot set up SMSF just going to the accountant and asking to set up SMSF. So it has to be done with a statement of advice, which will consider your financial circumstances. Remember, in the beginning of our presentation, I said that I do not, this is a general advice only, but in the statement of advice, I'll have to consider your circumstances, your income, your expenses, your even your health situation to provide you with the best advice on the contributions, on the SMSF establishment, on the borrowing, if you want to, for example, borrow and buy property in SMSF. So the statement of advice is required in order to establish the trust. So the second step is second step is a statement of advice, and the third step is a trust establishment after you completed the statement of advice. So with the what SMSF allowed to invest into, again, very briefly, because I know we want to move to the cryptocurrency. So SMSF can invest in listed and unlisted shares, unit trust, of course, open a bank account, invest in a fixed interest securities such as a term deposit. SMSF can invest in cryptocurrency, which we are going to discuss more about later on. SMSF can invest in precious metals, in commercial or residential property. Also, SMSF can invest in the collectibles. So there are quite a broad range of assets which SMSF can invest into. However, there are rules around each type of assets as well, which you need to know as a SMSF trustee, as an investor. And this is what we help you and guide you and hold your hand, so to basically understand these rules and to use these rules for your advantage to grow your wealth eventually. Crypto in SMSF. So cryptocurrency in a self-managed superannuation fund is a hot topic, especially in the last 2 years. It's been allowed, it's always been allowed to invest in cryptocurrency in SMSF. It just was never popular and became very popular in the last 2 years, like I said. So because there is a lot of developments happening in the crypto world, ATO and the rulings, they're still a little bit behind. So they're catching up with explanation about the taxation of crypto, about, like how to process the transactions. However, we already know a lot about cryptocurrency and already a lot of clients invest in cryptocurrency. So what we need to know as a beginner to start with is that cryptocurrency need to be allowed by the trust deed. So if, for example, you already have established SMSF and it was established 10 years ago, 20 years ago, your trust deed might not allow to invest in such an asset like a cryptocurrency. So you need to review your trust deed. The modern trust deeds, if you establish an SMSF now, of course, they will allow to invest in cryptocurrency. There is no problem with, like I said, with trust deeds if you are doing it now. The second thing is very important. When you establish SMSF, one of the things you need to do as a trustee is formulate your investment strategy. In the investment strategy, you need to decide where you want to invest your superannuation, what risk you want to take, what liquidity you want to have in a super fund. For example, if you're retiring, it means you'll start taking a pension, so you need liquidity. Or if, for example, you need to pay out some lump sum again. So it's all established in the investment strategy, as well as diversification. So ATO requires you to consider diversification. What it means that they don't want, government basically doesn't want you to lose money. So if you invest in one particular asset, and it doesn't matter if it's a cryptocurrency or say property, and this particular asset is a 95% of your total assets in SMSF, so it means you don't have diversification. It means you're exposed to the greater risk. And this is what ATO wants you to consider. ATO wants you to understand, the government wants you to understand the risk you're taking, and basically consider this type of risk and formulate it and notice it in investment strategy. This is very important because the auditors, they qualify the auditor's report if investment strategy does not align with your investments, with your SMSF. So every investment strategy is done for the particular SMSF. So when you decide to invest in crypto, when you open the account, it's very important to open account under SMSF name. Say if you're opening an account in some crypto exchange, it has to be under SMSF name. With Australian-based cryptocurrency exchanges, it's easier because every Australian-based cryptocurrency exchange would have this option, open SMSF account. However, if you open an account, if you want to open an account in, say, Singapore-based crypto exchange, there might be difficulty unless they have a lot of Australian clients with self-managed superannuation funds. They wouldn't have such an option because SMSF it's Australian thing. It's Australian type of investment vehicle, and they don't have it in the other countries. So name on the account has to be SMSF name. The same like the name on the bank account when you open bank account in your SMSF, the same as a name. If you buy property, it has to be under SMSF name, or the SMSF name has to be on the title or SMSF trustee name. So also if you open share trading account, it has to be under SMSF name. So the idea is that you keep your SMSF assets separately from your personal assets. And this is the very important rule, which very often there is a breach where, especially with crypto assets, where people mix in their assets with SMSF assets, their coins, personal coins with SMSF coins. So which is why you need to have a separate account. If we are talking about wallets, again, you need to have a separate wallet for your crypto coins and keep it completely separate from your own coins. So this is important. Also, you need to know all other rules and regulations which are general for the other assets as well. And this is where, again, we educate you and guide you to basically to invest without this risk of breaching the rules. So taxation, let's talk about tax. So in terms of a taxation, cryptocurrency in SMSF, SMSF income as a general, any income in SMSF as a general rule is taxed at 15% tax. However, cryptocurrency, it's not a cash, it's an asset. So what it means that the rules for tax, it's a capital gain asset because it's an asset. So it's a capital gain event when you sell or sell asset or swap asset. So for the capital gain event, it's a 15% tax in SMSF if you hold the asset for less than 12 months. If you hold the asset, which is a crypto coins, for more than 12 months, then there is a concession. So the capital gain tax will be 10%. It's not a 50% concession like in individual, if it's under individual name, it's only a 33.33% concession. So 10%. So maximum tax you pay on cryptocurrency, I repeat it again, is 15%. If you hold it for more than 12 months and then sell it, it's a 10%. And minimum tax, this is like part 3 is very important, is 0%. What the minimum tax 0% and how to get it? It's you need to meet a few conditions, and it's more for people who are at retirement age. So once you reach the certain age and meet the certain conditions, so retire, which is a retirement, you can move all your super funds are into the so-called pension phase. In a pension phase, you're not paying any tax on these assets which support the pension. So what it means once you reach this particular age and meet the particular condition, say age of 60 and retire, or age of 65 without any further condition, all your tax, all your SMSF income taxed at 0%. Doesn't matter capital gain or just the income, general income. So 0% tax, which is very, very generous if you think about how much capital gain you might make in say cryptocurrency. You know, if you invest and then you retire and have zero capital gain tax, it's beautiful. So what are the different types of events which will be taxed in SMSF? I mean, crypto events. Of course, you can buy, sell crypto, which will be a capital gain event, and will be taxed at 10% if it's more than 12 months, or 15%, or 0 if you are at retirement age. Swapping is the same like selling, so it's the same because you technically you are selling one coin and buying another coin. Staking rewards, staking are allowed in the SMSF, and staking rewards are taxed as a income, just, you know, like income on the SMSF, 15% tax on it. Trading crypto. So cryptocurrency is the capital gain asset. However, if you are trading crypto as a business, which should be obviously bigger volume, more often bigger volume, and more professional. If you're doing it, say, every day, you buy, sell like a trader, then your crypto asset will go not on a capital gain account. It will be just like your trading stock. So it means, you know, it will be just general income for the super fund, which is again 15% tax. And because you're trading, of course, there is no discount, as it's not a capital gain event. It's just like a trading stock event. So airdrops, donation, chain split, again, you know, like it's taxed as a income, because when you get in, you know, like say airdrops, you are getting the income. So the cost base of the airdropped coin will be your income, and you know, at the time when it's derived. The same with donations. So the cost base will be your income at the time it derived. So at the time you receive the airdrops or donations. Also, there are laws of theft in cryptocurrency. Of course, we all know, which is which will depend on the event and how it gets treated. In the most cases, it will be but basically just, you know, like sale event. So for the super fund. So record keeping. This is the very important part of your investment in cryptocurrency, because this is where the auditors qualify the reports. This is the most pain for you as a trustee for the self-managed superannuation fund comes from, because one thing is for the accountant to record the transaction and do your taxes. Another thing to prove to the auditor that this event existed and these coins, they belong to the super fund, and again that they existed at 30th of June. So for if you are using the Australian exchanges, crypto exchanges, they all will have annual reports, which is in PDF and also CSV files, which will be helpful to prove to the auditor that these were the coins at 30th of June sitting in the exchange, and this exchange belongs to the super fund because there will be name on the account. These reports will show the name on the account, they will show the transactions happening during the year, and they will show all buys, sells, transfers. They will show addresses where the coins went, and they will show the coins at 30th of June. So like I said, the best practice for record keeping is to use Australian-based crypto exchange. However, from my experience, and we do have a lot of clients with crypto assets in SMSF, from my experience, a lot of my clients like investing not in using not the Australian-based crypto exchanges only, but also they like wallets for different reasons, because it might be safer or they think it's safer. They like using different decentralized exchanges and where they can do some swaps. So all sort of blockchains we have, and it's like I said, it's developing every day. I'm learning together with my clients because I can't know everything, because every day is something new coming up, not every day, but every, say, month, week, whatever. So basically for the decentralized wallets and exchanges, what we have and what we can show to the auditor, we can show the transaction at 30th, we can show the amount of coins sitting in the wallet at 30th of June. Each year, where we can do the screenshot at 30th of June and say, this is my cold hot wallet, and these are the coins, they belong to the super fund. We also provide the declaration of trust saying, I declare I'm trustee for the self-managed superannuation fund, and I declare that these coins belong to the super fund. Also, the auditor might ask transaction ID, wallet address for decentralized exchanges, again, or wallets, and do research. However, I have to, you know, like you have to be aware that if the auditor does these searches, it's probably going to be the additional charge for this type of, you know, like searches and for this type of activity, because it's like investigation which the auditor has to do. Also, the auditor might ask for declaration of trust, confirming storage, that the wallet or is stored in a safe place, because again, you have to remember that you have to provide the declaration about you, or in investment strategy, you have to mention the risk. So what the government wants to make sure that you mitigate the risk and try to eliminate the risk. And then you have, say, cold wallet and you keep it somewhere, you have to provide the declaration that it's kept in a safe place. Also, you're not allowed to buy, one of the rules in the SMSF and cryptocurrency or with other assets, you're not allowed to buy the assets from related party unless it's a listed securities such as shares or commercial property. So otherwise, all other assets you can buy from unrelated party, but you can buy from your friend, but you cannot buy it from yourself. So if you're buying coins, you cannot just transfer coins from your own wallet to SMSF wallet and say it was my contribution or I just bought it. That's it. Once you bought it under your own name, in order for super fund to buy it, you have to sell it in your own name and super fund buys it on the exchange. So, which is why we need a declaration that it was not the coins were not bought from the related party as well. So again, at Easy Super, we guide and educate our clients what paperwork is required for the auditor. So we work with the auditors who understand the cryptocurrency, and we don't have usually qualifications for, like of our clients SMSFs, because like I said, we work with you, we educate you, we show you how to keep the right records. So, okay. So cryptocurrency, what not to do in SMSF. So there are things which you should never do. It's use other than SMSF account, like I mentioned, use your own account and mix the coins. Have bad record keeping. This is a lot of clients who come to me from, like the other accountants or online providers. This is a very common mistake where people don't keep their records. So not following an investment strategy. Say investment strategy says I want to invest 80% of in listed shares, and you invested 90% in cryptocurrency. It's a problem here. You're not allowed to use multiple exchanges and wallets. You are allowed to use multiple exchanges and wallets, but you have to understand that it's hard to trace the transactions when the transactions going to, like to different wallets and exchanges, and when it's all mixed, like then the coins moving between exchanges and wallets, because at the end of the day, the auditor is not an investigator. They're not going to trace your transactions to the, like last point. What they'll do, they'll just qualify saying, I couldn't prove that this transaction happened, or that you had this coin at 30th of June, because too many transactions, I can't follow, it's too complicated, which is why I put here what not to do: use multiple exchanges and wallets. Mix super coins with personal funds. This is something I've mentioned before, and this is, again, it's a very common mistake when people just mix the coins. Risk and sole purpose test. Sole purpose test, it's a very, very, number one SMSF test, where the sole purpose of SMSF is provide you money for your retirement. So whenever you do something risky, dodgy, then very often the auditor will qualify you on sole purpose test, because have you thought about keeping your funds safe for the retirement, or you just, like did it because you took unnecessary risk? So this is something to remember when you invest in cryptocurrency, that there are a lot of different options and avenues you can go with cryptocurrency. And if you take unnecessary risk and lose all the time, then the auditor definitely will qualify, because if you say had 500,000 and you invested in a different, like altcoins, hoping that it will go 500%, 5,000%, and it all went down, and instead of 500,000 you have 20 grand in the super fund in a year's time, of course auditor will qualify it, because like it's a sole purpose test. Like I said, it's to provide you for your retirement. Facing hefty fines and breaching in penalties for breaching the CIS law. So what it means, the ATO can impose penalties, and it's a per trustee. So depending on the breach, and it's if it's a repetitive breach, so SMSF could be, as a trustee for SMSF, you could be facing penalties, and you have to pay it yourself, not from your SMSF, but yourself personally. So let me just have just 1 second. So, all right, next one, we'll do the case study. What not to do. This is one of my clients. Let's call him John. So, sorry, here. So basically, John came to me from the online provider. He opened SMSF. He was using online provider for SMSF establishment and for compliance in his SMSF. And he came to me when he had 5 years of unlodged tax returns and invested in crypto, mixed money, his own money and the SMSF money, got hacked, lost some cryptocurrency, didn't lodge, like I said, tax returns for 5 years. ATO was chasing him, and he was like in all sorts of troubles. Of course, 5 years backwards, you know, like he started investing like 3 years ago in cryptocurrency or 4. He didn't remember, didn't keep records of the transactions, especially back then. It was multiple wallets. So it took us, you know, 3 months to restore the history, to restore what happened to, you know, with his transactions. He was facing like really hefty penalties, like ATO can penalize you up to 47% tax on the assets and on the income. And this is how, you know, like John found us, and took us 3 months, like I said, to restore the transactions, to lodge the tax returns, to deal with the auditor. Of course, there were qualifications. The audit reports were qualified because so many breaches. And however, we worked with the auditor, we worked with ATO, and John didn't get penalized. And we also educated him on how to keep records, which wallets and exchanges to use, and how to basically safely invest in crypto. And this is only one example. I do have a lot of examples like that, especially with online providers, because they do not educate you, they do not hold your hand, and they do not answer the questions. I do have quite a few clients where online providers actually refunded the money because they didn't want to fix the problems. They didn't want to answer the questions. It's not like they didn't want to answer the questions. They don't have resources. And plus, when you do it online, it's almost like do it yourself. And people on the phone, they cannot answer it very often. They cannot answer the questions because they don't have a financial license, for example, or limited financial license like I do, and they don't want to get in trouble. So the most often the answer would be you should consider the financial advice or something like that. So this is one of the case studies which I've seen quite a bit in the cryptocurrency space, where it could be very messy and very scary for the trustees, obviously. So, all right. So what we do at this is super. We do everything SMSF. So SMSF establishment, SMSF annual compliance administration, SMSF audit, and SMSF advice. So advice on if you want to invest in crypto, if you want to invest in property. We don't provide investment advice, we provide strategic advice. So the difference is we don't tell you where to invest, but we tell you how to invest safely. So you decide where to invest, you ask us questions, can we do this, can we do that? And if you can do it, we guide you and we help you to basically not to breach the law, but to grow your wealth. How can we help you to stay compliant? This is very important with cryptocurrency. Again, we help you to prevent breaches by educating, by being on the phone, being on emails anytime. You have a question, you reach out, and it's a part of our annual package. So it's not like we charge for 5 minutes like lawyers do, for example. So we answer any technical questions, any compliance questions you might have, provide 24/7 technical support. It's more marketing 24/7. I hope no one wants to call me at 2 o'clock in the morning. We can assist you with investment strategy because it's a very important document. We cannot do it for you because to do your investment strategy, you need to have, again, statement of advice, which is costly exercise. However, we can assist you. So you do it yourself eventually, but we will ask you the right questions to put the investment strategy together for you. And also, if you have any breaches, if you're already in troubles, we communicate with ATO, we work with ATO, we work with the auditor, trying to solve your problems and to avoid basically penalties if you're already in trouble. So, all right, so why us? So, like I said, we also all have almost 20 years of experience in the SMSF industry. Been doing only SMSF for last 18 years. We have we provide quick turnaround, which is between 1 and 2 weeks. If you have all information, it will be approximately 1 week, including the audit. We don't sit on the files. And you have access to our SMSF experts. So basically, the technical advice is included, like I mentioned before, in the package. So this is like what people say about us. Again, you can go on our website, www.smsfconsulting.com.au, smsfconsulting.com.au. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, subscribe to our newsletters. Again, it's all on a website. Basically, I think this is it. So this is my last slide. And now I'm going to have a look at the chat and open for questions, or maybe even unmute you. And if you have any questions, please feel free. We'll have some time for the questions. Let me look at the chat. Okay, so can you please repeat under what circumstances the income is treated as normal income instead of capital gains? If you're a trader, so, but you have to prove to the auditor that you are a trader. So it means it has to be frequency of transaction, buy, sell every day. So it's very different. So when someone just keeps does one transaction a week, or someone does 20 transactions every day, this is more like about frequency, about the volume. Again, it's not like you're doing say $100, like buy sell every day. I wouldn't call it trader. I would call it not very smart in SMSF doing that. But if you have a volume, enough volume, and if you do it frequent, then your crypto coins, instead of being an asset and then it's sold and it's capital gain, it will be as a trading stock, in out, and the difference will be just your normal income. So, but there is no advantages, to be honest, of doing that, because there is tax of 15% anyway. So you're not gaining anything being a trader. But what you do, you're giving a lot of headache to your accountant, because you're doing all these transactions mentioned, and at the moment software is not 100% up to date with all the crypto prices. What it means that everything will need to be processed manually, not like with shares where software already can download the prices. With a lot of coins, they don't have these prices, so it means all the fees, everything has to be processed manually. So imagine the fees, because it has to be different fees, so for that type of transactions. And also risk again, if you trade too much, again, while you're doing it in self-managed superannuation fund, you should be doing such an risky activity outside of super. So
thanks, Natalia. That was my question. I now, when you talked of the risk factors, and that is not what the sole purpose test, as you mentioned, doesn't meet your trading in and out so frequently. I actually wasn't really, the question was not only restricted to cryptocurrency, it was also just in case if it is stock. And I was thinking in case if it is treated as, like trading loss, then you can set it off against other income in case, if it was capital gain, then you probably have to wait, capital loss, then you have to wait till the time you make capital gain. That is why I asked that question.
Okay, yeah, I understand your question. Yes, in theory, that's right. But even with the shares, I haven't seen a lot of super funds qualified for being a trading, like entity, because it's getting complicated, because it's like you're running a business, which is allowed to run a business in SMSF, but then it's all related party issues, etc., etc. So I wouldn't just like trying to save like a little bit of money and move from the capital gain to the just ordinary income, because even with ordinary income, how much like you can offset against the income, how much expenses the SMSF can incur, apart from the accounting fees, audit fees, and maybe educational fees. Again, maybe educational fees for crypto. This is the other question which I've been asked. To be able to deduct educational fees in for cryptocurrency in SMSF, you have to have again the volume of transactions, the amount of transactions, the volume of transaction, and also it has to be quite a big chunk of SMSF to be able to, in complexity also. So if you just buy, 20 Bitcoins and claim some educational fees, I don't think the auditor will be happy, because the question would be, like you could buy Bitcoin without any education. So it has to be complexity to it as well. So yeah, it has to have to be careful, but if you do have different trading activities and different investments, but potentially there is a deduction for educational fees in cryptocurrency fees in SMSF. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you for that, Natalia. Now, my one other question before I give the mic back to you is, do you have any preferred, what do you call, agents, or I don't know, brokers for cryptocurrency that you would guide us? Like if I make a SMSF with you, then would you have somebody to guide us? Like, of course, like how to trade in cryptocurrency, or you go to this broker and then I can talk to that broker, and then is that, you know what I mean? I'm very new to cryptocurrency, and that's why I was here for today's webinar. I thought I'd learn that. Yep, that was my question. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's a good question. So unfortunately, with the cryptocurrency, it's the investment product. So what I'm doing, which is why I gave a disclaimer, I'm not advising you to invest in cryptocurrency, not at all. I'm just telling you what the rules are, and this is my role as the tax agent or the auditor to advise you how not to breach the rules. It's your decision. If you want to advise on where to invest, it's a financial product. However, in Australia, I don't know any financial advisor who has it on their list. What it means they cannot open them out because it's not on their product list. It's not covered by the insurance. And it means that as a professional, they cannot open their mouth and talk about cryptocurrency with you. In terms of the advice where to invest, you can talk to your neighbor who is not professional. You can talk to the educational providers, or whatever they call themselves, whatever, you know, like that are around, like different groups, because they don't have a license. They're not professionals. They can tell you, oh, invest here or there, but don't forget what's the difference between professional and not professional. You cannot sue them. If you lose your money, it's the same, like I said, you're talking to your neighbor. If you want to talk to the professional who is responsible and obviously has got the PI insurance and covered, and in case if you lose money, you can sue them, there is none of them in Australia at the moment, because like I said, it's only they're only talking about adding it to the list of financial products for some advisors who want it, because advisors wanna be able to advise. However, it's not on a list there. So therefore, if you're looking for a broker, it's only what you can find online, again, such as people or groups or companies without any license. So you can read or get educated, even like on if you look at the website of any exchange, they have different topics where you can get yourself educated. Like I said, there are different educational groups around, but they are not advisors. So it's at your risk listening to anyone and taking anyone's advice. This is what I could tell you, but it's coming. The changes are coming, because like I said, there is a talk about advisors starting talking about cryptocurrency. Not yet, but when it will be, I'll let my clients know. I won't be advising, because I'm not advising, or I'm not giving the investment advice. But I will have, obviously, I don't know people who will be able to help you. At the moment, I don't, because they don't exist. So, yeah, so I hope this answered your question. So,
sure, thank you.
What records do I need to keep as a trader? Excel to send to you? Can you provide a spreadsheet? You can keep any records. The question is not about keeping the records, because the question is proving that these records are correct. And to prove to the auditor that these records are correct, you do need to have a spreadsheet, of course. Like, you can have it in any format you want, but also you need to have you need to show that these transactions actually took place. What you need to show, for example, again, it's a little bit you know, like, maybe it looks a little bit strange, but you can do a screenshot of transaction. Say you know, like, you have your wallet, right, and you can have a screenshot of transactions if you can't download them, or you send coins from one address to another address. Again, you can do a screenshot of transaction showing the date, because on your computer we will have a date, right? Showing the date, showing the address, and then it will be needed declaration of trust, confirming that this transaction existed and this transaction belonged to the super fund. But only declaration of trust and spreadsheet is not enough for the auditor, because, you know, like, how is a SMSF auditor myself, how do I know this transaction, like I said, took place, unless I have some sort of like proof? And the better your screenshots and records where we can trace it as an accountant and then show it to the auditor, because we link our documents with all the transactions, so the auditor has to be able to follow through. So yeah, it's a little bit hideous. So which is why with SMSF, a lot of my colleagues and myself, we recommend to be more conservative. So what it means, they ideally keep your money in a Australian-based exchange, keep it for, you know, capital gain tax. It means, you know, keep it for months or years. Don't trade too much. Don't do this or that. But however, I understand that you allowed to do the more than that. So, and we understand that we have to be ready to accommodate people who want to do more transaction, which is why I said, like then you have to keep all these records with screenshots and where transaction went, what date, what address, from which address to like the addresses as well, so the auditor can put it in the computer on a blockchain explorer and find this transaction. At least not every transaction, but they can do a test of your records. So yeah. So no, it's a little bit complicated, but this is crypto world. It's something something new and something different, but it's exciting. So I guess. All right. Any other questions? Anyone wants to ask me questions so I can unmute you? Anyone? Can't see anyone. No? All right. So no one is asking to unmute. All right. If you don't have any questions, then I will wrap up. Again, like we will send follow-up email. And again, if you have any questions, join my YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, follow our blogs. We'll send all information tomorrow to you tomorrow. And like I said, give me a call. I will send you my number, and I'll send me email, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and we'll have more webinars. And the more questions you have, the better I can accommodate them in my next webinars, because obviously I will have webinars based on your questions, whatever is like hot topics. Yeah. So, but anyway, thank you very much, guys, and hope you found it informative, and have a good night. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.